Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ready to learn some psychology-based secrets that can help you in everyday situations? Well, today we are revealing 19 simple psychological tricks that actually work. From body language to persuasion and decision-making. These tricks will give you insight into how the mind works and how to use it to your advantage. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover the secrets of human behavior with our top 19 simple psychological tricks that actually work. Number 1, the halo effect. The halo effect is a cognitive bias that causes us to judge others based on our overall impression of them rather than on specific criteria. For example, if we think someone is attractive, we also assume they are intelligent, kind, and trustworthy. This effect can be used to your advantage by dressing well, smiling more, and exuding confidence. By making a good first impression, you can capitalize on the halo effect and have others see you in a positive light. 2. Foot in the door technique. This technique is a great way to persuade someone to do something by starting with a small request and then building up to a larger one. For example, if you want to ask for a raise at work, you could start by asking for a small increase in responsibilities and then later ask for the raise. By getting the other party to agree to the initial small request, you will increase the likelihood that they will also agree to the bigger one. 3. Scarcity principle. The scarcity principle states that people value things more when they are in short supply. For example, if you tell someone that there are only a few spots left for an event, they will be more likely to attend because they feel like they might miss out. You can use this principle to your advantage by creating a sense of urgency or exclusivity around something. For example, you could say that there are only a few items left in stock to encourage people to buy now. 4. Anchoring. Anchoring is a cognitive bias that causes us to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we see. For example, if you see a shirt on sale for $100 off, you might think it has a great deal, even if the original price was $200. Anchoring can be used to your advantage by setting high prices first and then offering discounts or sales. By anchoring the price in the consumer's mind, you can make subsequent offers seem much smaller. 5. Social proof. People are more likely to do something if they see others doing it too. This is known as social proof, and it can be used to your advantage in many situations. For example, if you are trying to sell a product, you can use testimonials or reviews from other customers to increase sales. Or if you are trying to get people to try a new restaurant, you can mention that it is the hottest new spot in town. 6. Reciprocity of attraction. We are more likely to like someone who we know likes us back. This is known as the reciprocity of attraction, and it can be used to your advantage by being friendly and smiling at others. By showing that you are attracted to someone, you will increase the likelihood that they will be attracted to you as well. 7. Authority. People are more likely to follow someone who they perceive as an authority. This is known as the authority bias, and it can be used to your advantage in many situations. For example, if you are trying to convince someone to do something, you can use your position of power or expertise to persuade them. But be careful not to abuse this power, as people can also resent being manipulated. 8. Commitment and consistency. Once someone has made a commitment to something, they are more likely to follow through with it. This is known as the commitment and consistency bias, and it can be used to your advantage by getting people to make small commitments. For example, if you want to get someone to buy a product, you could start by getting them to sample it or try it out. 9. Liking. We are more likely to agree to requests from people that we like. This is known as the liking bias, and it can be used to your advantage by getting people to like you. This can be done by finding common ground, being polite, and being physically attractive. 10. Framing. Framing is a cognitive bias that causes us to interpret information in different ways, depending on how it is presented. For example, people are more likely to buy a product that is described as 90% fat-free instead of 10% fat. By understanding how people frame information, you can use it to your advantage to influence their decisions. 11. Loss aversion. People are more likely to avoid losses than they are to seek out gains. This is known as loss aversion, and it can be used to your advantage by framing things in terms of what can be lost. For example, you could say that if someone does not buy a certain product, they might miss out on a great opportunity. 12. The power of 3. People are more likely to agree to requests if they are presented with 3 options rather than 2. This is known as the power of 3, and it can be used to your advantage when making decisions. For example, if you were trying to decide between 2 options, you could add a third option that is slightly better than the best of the original 2. 13. Primacy effect. The primacy effect is a cognitive bias that causes us to remember the first thing we see or hear about something more than we remember everything else. This can be used to your advantage by making a strong first impression. For example, if you are meeting someone new, you can introduce yourself confidently and shake their hand firmly. 14. Recency effect. The recency effect is a cognitive bias that causes us to remember the last thing we see or hear about something more than we remember everything else. This can be used to your advantage by making sure that the last thing someone sees or hears from you is positive. For example, if you are giving a presentation, you can end with a strong call to action or a memorable story. 15. Availability heuristic. People are more likely to believe things that are easy to recall. This is known as the availability heuristic, and it can be used to your advantage by making sure that important information is easily accessible. For example, if you are trying to persuade someone to do something, you can use stories or examples that are vivid and easy to remember. 16. Vividness. People are more likely to remember things that are vivid and emotionally charged. This is known as the vividness effect, and it can be used to your advantage by making sure that important information is presented in a clear and memorable way. For example, if you are giving a presentation, you can use visuals and stories to make your points more vivid and memorable. 17. Mere exposure. People tend to prefer things that they are more familiar with. This is known as the mere exposure effect, and it can be used to your advantage by repeating information or ideas till they become more familiar to the other person. For example, if you are trying to persuade someone to do something, you can repeat your arguments until they become more comfortable with them. 18. The serial position effect. People are more likely to remember the first and last items in a list. This is known as the serial position effect, and it can be used to your advantage by putting important information at the beginning or end of a list. For example, if you are making a grocery list, you can put the most important items at the beginning or end of the list, so that you are more likely to remember them.
A self-fulfilling prophecy.
People's beliefs and expectations often become reality. This is known as the self-fulfilling prophecy, and it can be used to your advantage by believing in your own abilities and having a positive attitude. By believing that you can achieve your goals, you will be more likely to take the steps necessary to do so. These simple psychological tricks can be used in many different situations to give you just a little bit of an edge. Remember to use them responsibly and ethically, and always be aware of the potential consequences of your actions. Do you know of any other simple psychological tricks that actually work? Share them with us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.